For many years now, Russ and Craig have had many wide-ranging conversations with folks from all over the gaming world. This is one of those conversations.
D6G, the Lost Chapter.
Hey, Russ, can you pass the Splenda?
Yeah, actually, Craig, I don't know if you know this. I invited Raef to come, but, it's Raef, so roll a D6. What do you think his chances of showing up are tonight?
Oh, well, let me roll a couple dice.
Like a D6, baby.
Hey, Raef, so what are you having tonight for donuts?
Tonight I'm in the mood for a Sprinks mix for lunatics. So it's got the sprinkles, it's got frosting all over it, but the sprinkles are mashed up on one side.
Okay.
I stole that as from Brian Regan, comedian.
All right, so if you're a longtime listener, you'll know that Raef Hollywood Granger is a longtime host of the D6 Generation, and then left us for a while, but now he's back as a guest cameo appearance here on The Lost Chapter.
Excited to be in Dunks.
Raef, you were all excited to talk about movies, so we said, well, why don't we just talk about it in Dunkin' Donuts here?
Well, I got jealous because I heard about a movie that Craig went to, I don't know, Craig, maybe 6 months ago when Russ spilled that giant soda into your lap.
It was 2 years ago.
Backwards.
That was 2 years ago?
And Craig spilled it in my lap. It was Green Lantern.
Yes, Green.
I had the story totally reversed and thought it was only 6 months ago.
And it made it a 4D movie because it was right when the alien crashed in the water and it splashed. That's when Craig spilled the soda. I was like, whoa, it's like being there. It was awesome.
Russ was all confused. He's like, how did they do that?
Right. It's amazing. This was very immersive theater.
It's immersive.
Yeah. It was,
oh, my God.
So it took me a second to realize Craig had spilled soda. So
I could just picture Russ just sitting there shaking his head and Craig being sorry, dude.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
That's what happened.
Craig, did you miss the hole?
No, the cup folded in my hands.
You crushed it with your super strength.
Also, I really like this movie. Sorry.
It's whatever you can imagine with the ring there.
Oh my God, that's the best. Okay.
So I think we're going to talk about maybe who knows what we're going to talk about, but I was going to talk about some of the hot movies so far this season, what we like, what we don't like, what we're most anticipating this summer. So let's start off with Iron Man 3, right? Oh, and we should say now there are going to be spoilers, right?
Yes.
You can't. No.
Why not?
No. There cannot, because I haven't seen Star Trek, so you cannot spoil Star Trek.
What? Oh, this whole premise is based on you seeing Star Trek.
You haven't seen Star Trek? Okay, let's talk about. Okay, start here. We're going to spoil.
I wanted to get Craig's opinion of Star Trek.
Well, okay. Well, let's do this. Let's spoil Iron Man, and then we'll see what we can do. We can do some foreshadowing with Star Trek. All right. How'd you not see Star Trek on opening weekend, dude? That is just embarrassing.
First of all, I'm not a Trekkie.
Doesn't matter. It's sci-fi, dude. Opening weekend.
Okay, well, I tried. Okay, I tried.
All right.
This is what happened. Okay, I had my play went up on Friday. I had to finish all of the Wild West Exodus comic book scripts. All had to be done for the whole year on Friday. I had my last FFG assignment was Monday, or my latest FFG assignment was Monday. So it was like a huge, ridiculous weekend trying to get all that done. And I went to breakfast with my parents on Sunday, and I was complaining about how much I had to do, and my son is ridiculously well behaved, and it's really not that hard to work with him around, and he's just awesome. But at the same time, I'm not going to get as much work done. And I was talking about that, and my parents were like, "Oh, we're going to get your grandmother's to go visit, and he loves her. Why don't we take him off your hands for the day?" And I was like, "Oh my God, that's great!" And I drove to the movie theater, which is. That is me. Not only is that me being a bad writer, it's a bad son, it's a bad dad, but I was okay with it. And I got there, and I got in line to see Star Trek, despite the fact that I had all this stuff to do, and I was there under false pretenses, and I didn't have my wallet.
Oh,
wow! God was speaking to you.
That's karma right there.
Exactly. So I went home, and I thought, okay, I'll get 2 hours of writing done, and then I'll go see the next showing. And I literally did 2 hours of writing, got in the car, and halfway to the movies, I had a massive guilt trip on myself and went, I can't do this. And I turned around and I went back and I continued writing. And I finished, but I didn't see Star Trek. So there you go.
Well, here's why I wanted to bring it up without ruining anything. Is I've been paying attention to the emails that go back and forth, and a bunch of people, Craig, said they didn't like Iron Man, and Craig, you said you did, and I saw it, and and Russ was silent, or if he posted something, I didn't catch it, and I loved Iron Man 3.
Me too.
And then I wanted to see, and I haven't seen any emails going back and forth on Star Trek. Have you, Russ?
There's been
what people thought.
There's been minimal emails on Star Trek because not everyone has seen it, and there is some really big plot points in there that nobody wants to spoil.
Okay.
So I think that's why the comments have been very much just saw it, don't want to spoil anything, but I enjoyed it. That's pretty much been the extent of the comments.
I think unless, Craig, you are, and I've become this way, where I don't even want to hear if people like it, because then my anticipation goes up too high. I wasn't going to talk to you about plot. I was going to talk to you more about like what we're going to talk about with Iron Man about Star Trek. So I'm not sure that'll ruin it for you, but we should maybe cross that bridge so we don't ruin it for you.
Let's talk Iron Man, and then Craig can give us an opinion on Star Trek.
At first.
Okay.
All right. So we all saw Iron Man.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Raef, since this is your segment idea, why don't you go ahead? What did you think of Iron Man 3?
All right. What intrigued me was I was having a conversation with Doc about it, and what I decided to do is I haven't been able to get out on weekends much, and I'm like, you know what? I'm freaking self-employed. I don't surf the webs. I don't read forums. I don't play MMOs at work. And
I like how you qualified that, Craig.
Yeah.
Well, at work.
Right. No, yeah, while at work. I never act like my own boss. You know, it's weird. Like, you think I could be like, woo, play hooky, run off into the beach or something. So I'm like, screw it. So I went and saw a matinee by myself. It was awesome. And when I saw people talking about Iron Man 3 in the threads, they were like, oh, it doesn't have action and it's sort of boring and blah, blah. And then I was talking to Doc about it, and he's like, oh, man, I heard it was awesome because it deals with Tony Stark. He's just a human being who happens to have an awesome suit of armor. He flies into the next dimension in Iron Man 2, and he has to deal with. He has like PTSD, and I'm like, that sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. And it totally fit that expectation when I saw the movie. I liked that it was about Tony Stark, and I thought it had tons of action.
Yeah. What did you think, Craig?
So who was it that didn't like it, Craig? To use names, but what didn't they like is what I meant to say.
I don't know, because all I saw was a lot of, I don't know, I could have been better. And I went and saw it the first time, and I went and saw it at the morning breakfast thing with Russ and his old family and a bunch of other friends' families. And not the ideal situation to watch like a cool immersive action movie, but still cool and a good breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Right, you did the Chunkies thing, right, Russ?
Yeah, Chunky's breakfast, yeah.
And I turned to Russ as soon as the lights came back up. I turned to Russ and I said, I must have missed where that movie started to suck.
I know, right? Because Craig and I both came in, because you're right, Rafe. Our local email thread, people were like, it wasn't bad. I kind of liked it in spite of it. And I was like, that movie was fantastic from start to finish because it was about Tony Stark.
Yep.
He was the main character. It was not about Iron Man. It was about Tony Stark, and he's the best part of the whole movie. I mean,
absolutely.
Yes.
His lines were fantastic. I could watch it at least 3 times just to get all the lines out of there. I thought the kid was fantastic. I thought that whole side plot was great. I liked I didn't even bother me that the Mandarin thing and how that all worked out. I thought that was awesome. I loved all the suits. I liked the symbolism of the suits blowing up at the end. I liked that Potts was kicking butt in the Iron Man suit. I liked everything about it. I liked how War Machine worked out. The whole thing. There was not a part of that movie where I was like waiting for it to get better or waiting for it to pick up pace or anything. There was the whole from start to finish was awesome.
Well,
I agree.
I have a theory. I think that, and I know nothing about comics, so I think the Mandarin thing bothered a bunch of our friends who are.
What part of the Mandarin thing bothered? Because I don't know the comics either. So what?
I don't follow the Iron Man comics either. So what bothered people about the Mandarin thing?
It's like one of his main bad guys, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's already dead. Is that the problem?
What's that?
He's already been defeated. Is that the problem? He should be a recurring character or something.
No. In the movie, he's not really in the Mandarin as portrayed by Ben Kingsley is a main bad guy.
Right.
And in the movie, he's not. He's an actor portraying a role.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know,
Right. So in other words, Russ, he's a real bad guy like the Red Skull or like the Joker.
Okay.
So it would be like Darth Vader is like, a drunken actor that they put in a big giant black.
Yes. Right. Oh, okay. I got you.
I get it.
Well, see, that's what I like about the Iron Man movies is I keep trying to tell people, to me, and I might have my timing wrong here, but Iron Man 1 was the first movie that made a superhero movie a great movie that happened to be about superheroes.
Well, I think there are a couple of them that did that too. But
all right, which ones? Which ones in time?
Spider-Man. I like the first Spider-Man movie.
I still think Spider-Man was very comic-y. I think you had to be a comic.
Let me ask you this, Raef.
Or a geek.
I mean, you're right. It was a super blockbuster, transcended the genre movie, no doubt about that. But
that's what I mean. Like a non-geek could watch Iron Man 1 and like it.
But let me ask you this, because Craig makes a good point. I'm confused by this. So you're right, Craig. It's different than the comic books, right? But Raef, as a comic book reader yourself, right? They reboot comic books all the time.
Totally.
Yeah.
And when they reboot them, they change things all the time.
Totally.
And so isn't this just another reboot? I mean, why did comic book readers look at this movie and say, well, that Mandarin's not the same as he was in this specific reboot of Iron Man?
Because they're comic nerds, and they need to be locked in their comic box.
But it's not even the same, because wasn't there an Iron Man reboot where the Mandarin was different? I mean, or I don't know, but I'm just guessing.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe Iron Man's not been rebooted as much. I don't know. All right. What else, Craig? Any other common
the other thing that I think got to people was the relationship with the kid, which I loved.
Me too.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yes. Has it been? Is it a device? Absolutely.
Yes.
Never has it been done with such a sarcastic bastard as Tony Stark, who clearly cares. I mean, if it is lazy and retreading old stuff, it's retreading so many different old things, coming at it from different directions that it creates a whole new thing of its own.
I think
I felt.
Yeah.
I
didn't even feel like it was a retread. Is that what people were saying?
No, I mean, there's always, the poor orphan kid or the poor fatherless kid who gets befriended by the superhero or befriended.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's been done a million times. But I mean, not only was Tony Stark his sarcastic self, but that kid was like an expert manipulator. Also, I mean, it was hilarious. It was such a source of just kind of like warmth and amusement to me through the entire movie where it occurred, that it didn't, to me, strike a single false note all the way through.
And you're hard to please in that department, I would say.
I think I'm very hard to please where internal consistency in a movie is concerned.
Yes.
And for me, I saw Tony Stark being honest Tony Stark. I saw this kid come in and have a fully fleshed out character with a background that they didn't take forever to talk about, but with one or two comments, you knew the kid, wasn't coming from the best place, and the father, was gone. I thought that was an awesome little, there were like little poignant moments. I just thought it was awesome. I thought the little kid was a great actor. He was a great avenue through which Tony Stark, one, has to confront his anxiety over what happened in New York in Avengers, and two, gets the added information and the local opinion of what happened with the first accidental detonation.
That's what I meant. Not Iron Man 2, but the Avengers when he flies up in the space.
Well, I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great. I don't know. I can't say enough good stuff about it. The only thing I can say about it that would be negative in any way would be that the Easter egg at the end was kind of meh to me.
Oh, I didn't sit through it.
Oh, I like the Easter egg.
Yeah, I mean, it was a shawarma Easter egg.
It was a shawarma Easter egg, right? One other thing I want to mention, Craig, 'cause I want to jump on what you said and reinforce it, and that is they did such a good job of humor and also poignant moments. Like one of my favorite scenes was actually when the kids in the restaurant come up and ask for his autograph, right? And he starts to try to draw, there's little Iron Man saying, "Help me, I'm Iron Man." Iron Man's trying to, And you get the moment that even though Tony Stark's a sarcastic son of a bitch, there he is taking a moment to not just scribble his name on it, but actually make a little scene and make her, he appreciates these kids and he cares about people. And you know that because he's saving people all the time and is at great personal risk to himself. But it's just that little moment there, and the whole, he has his attack again of his post traumatic stress thing, and it just all comes together. Those little moments again without a lot of backstory, just really well done execution, which is great. So, Rafe, did you not see the very end of the movie?
Nope, I didn't sit through it.
So
Figured I'd catch it on YouTube.
So the entire movie, he is spoiler alert. The entire movie, he's narrating to himself, right? Tony Stark is the narrator of the film.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, right from the very beginning, he's like, it's like backstory the whole time.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, at the very end, it cuts back and you hear Tony still talking, and Tony is talking to a psychiatrist, and it pans back, and it's Bruce. It's the Hulk. It's Bruce Banner. And Bruce Banner says, I'm not really that kind of doctor.
I don't have the temperament for it.
I don't have the temperament for it. That was the end. That was it. Which I thought was pretty freaking hilarious.
That's not even the end, because then he goes, "Oh, really? Really? Okay, let's go back a little bit further to the first time I was ever injured. I think I was 14,
Right.
and that's how it ends."
Right. Which is just awesome. Those little moments, you got to stay like the little Boromir meme going around the internet. One does not simply leave a Marvel film at the credits start.
Yeah.
I
I lost track that Jon Favreau didn't direct this. Who directed this one? Do you guys know?
You knew it wasn't him, but
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that much of a movie buff to know all those things, but I just really liked it. There was no part of this movie I thought that it was easily the equal of Iron Man 1 and better in Iron Man 2 than in almost every way.
Yeah, me too. I kind of wish. Did you get the sense that? Spoiler alert. Did you get the sense that Pepper Potts, they took out the serum or the plant goo inside of her completely? Because I thought that would have been cool if she had that in her still.
yeah, they did. I mean, I think the indication was that they took care of it completely, but I thought the same sort of thing. Although then you're creating a character that didn't exist. So.
Well, it seems like they got it out, but again, it's a comic, so they could always say, well, they thought they got it all out, but
Yeah, good point.
so you don't know. But yeah. So loved it. Loved Iron Man 3. Can't wait for the next one. Can't wait for the Avengers. Can't wait for all that stuff. Joss Whedon's a god. There we go.
Oh, and Russ, you mentioned this in somewhere before. The TV show for the Shield
Yes.
looks awesome.
Does look good. Yeah.
Holy crud.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Like, how do they produce that level of, well, I guess they do now, right? Game of Thrones and all this other stuff. Yeah.
But again, you've got all the guys that are in our group that are like big comic book guys going, "Oh, I can't believe they did that. That guy's not in it. Oh, that guy's in it, but he's got a different thing."
Well,
like,
right.
They got to get over that because
down.
Robert Kirkman solved this whole problem. I know you guys aren't huge Walking Dead fans. They're not fans, but they're not. That's not the thing you follow. But he has his comic books and he has his TV show, and the characters are similar, and that's it. Different ones die in the TV show that die in the comic book. The main character's Rick is still Rick, and he's still the way he is, but it's almost like they pick in the TV show a different facet of his personality to exploit and get bigger, and it's not that big in the comics, and so I think it can run parallel, no problem.
Yeah, I sometimes I feel like we as geeks like to bash stuff just to bash it.
Oh yeah, that's clear.
Yeah.
And that's a good dovetail into Star Trek. So I know, Craig, you haven't seen this yet, so this is going to be a little awkward, but I don't want to, I'll try not to spoil anything. But Rafe, have you heard all the controversy about Star Trek?
No, I haven't heard the controversy, but what I wondered is with the with our email group being like, Iron Man, and I hope this doesn't ruin for Craig. I really, really, really wanted to. I had the reverse effect with Iron Man. Like everybody's like, with Iron Man, and I loved it. And then I really wanted to love Star Trek, and I was like, meh.
Yeah, I loved Star Trek. Now I'm a huge Trek guy, so it would have to pretty much. I mean, I'll just go ahead and say now it would have to really suck for me not to like it. But they have done such a good job of making those characters the same characters I fell in love with in the original series. Like, I look at the actors playing Kirk and Spock on the screen, and I don't see different actors than Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner.
They did do an excellent job of that.
I still see Kirk and Spock.
That might be what I don't like about
McCoy is the same, and Scotty's the same, and their lines are the same. What I like the best about it is because they've rebooted it also with this alternate timeline thing. It's fine. I loved, and I don't want to spoil it for Craig. So I loved exactly what this movie did. I loved right down to, oh my God, they're doing this again. Oh my, like look at those twists. Oh, I loved everything about that.
Okay, see that's interesting. Now, I'm not a huge Trekkie. I don't even recall any of the Trek movies. Mm-hmm. William Shatner TV shows, loved. Mm-hmm. Next Generation, loved. DS9, never get into it. Voyager, loved. The new reboot of the Next Generation TV show with Scott Bakula, didn't like. But that's it. I don't know the movies, and this won't ruin it, Craig. But what I want a reboot, like a little homage to Chris Pine doing William Shatner. It was cool, but to me, I was like, it's just this. It was too. They were too much homaging to Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner. There were movements that Chris Pine did that almost looked identical to what William Shatner.
Yeah, and I like that. It's Kirk.
I appreciated his skill as an actor to do that, but I was like, give me the reboot. Let's go.
That didn't bother me. Well, in fact, this was like. It's hard to talk about this. It was scene for scene the other movie, Raef. That was the thing that was awesome.
That's what I've heard. See, I didn't have that problem because I don't remember the other movie.
And I don't know if Craig, not being a Trekker, probably won't get this. That movie is the best Star Trek movie, best Star Trek anything ever done, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
So this is the true tribute to that movie being done in a slightly different way.
Well, I could see why you like it then.
So that is what makes it so awesome.
It's a repeat of a previous movie?
That's all I can say without just totally destroying it for you.
I don't think it destroys it to go further than that because if Craig's like me, he's not as huge uber Trekkie. Craig, I can't even remember the second movie.
Oh my God! Would you just? Oh my God! There are people out there yelling at their MP3. I understand what you're saying, people out there that are listening right now. I understand. It's okay. It's Raef. He can not know this stuff.
This is the guy who likes Episode 1 of Star Wars. So
is it V'ger? Which one was number 2?
Do you want to know? Because it spoils it, Craig.
It doesn't spoil it.
It's Wrath of Khan.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so Wrath of Khan is most Trekkers will tell you Wrath of Khan is the best Star Trek movie.
Uh-huh. That I've heard before. Yes.
This is Wrath of Khan reimagined.
Gotcha.
But you don't. But the thing about it that's a twist, and I'm sorry you know this, not Craig, but you might not know Wrath of Khan that well. But the thing about it, the twist is going into this because I had totally insulated myself from knowing anything about this movie, except that it was Star Trek. So I didn't know. So when that happened and they revealed his name, I was like, oh. And then when they went down the path they did for like scene for scene, but slightly differently, like everything was slightly different, was awesome. And then it was like, oh, but they don't have the whole Genesis project. So how are they going to fix this situation? And it was just cool how they did the whole thing. I loved it. I mean, I can see how people might think it was campy, but that's not even the controversy about the movie. The controversy is really
the problem I had, camp.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. But Star Trek's always been kind of campy. I mean,
that's what I didn't like about it.
Oh, okay. Well, I can see that.
Star Trek was campy because it was made in the 60s. Was it 60s? 70s?
60s, yeah.
Late 60s, right?
It predates Star Wars, yeah. Yeah, it was made, yeah.
But, like, so then to bring, I don't know, and Star Trek 1 was so freaking good.
Star Trek 1?
Yes.
Oh, you mean the first movie? Yes, yeah. I think this is the equal to that film, though.
Star Trek 1 was awesome.
But I think this is just as good.
No.
Oh, yeah? Okay, I liked it.
I thought it was camp. Like, I have a feel. That's what I'm going to talk about with Craig.
Mm-hmm.
Craig.
Craig. Here's the
I need to know where Craig raised in. If he's like, well.
All right.
Deal.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to Phoenix Comic-Con this weekend.
All right.
What? What alternative universe did we just get into?
It's crazy.
The man's written a comic, Rafe. He's got to go to these cons now.
A comic later now, please.
Yeah, come on.
I think of it more as a game-induced, infused comic, I guess.
That's not Romeo's vision. Romeo would like it to be a success in and of itself. And so I am being flown out to Phoenix Comic-Con.
Okay.
And I with a very specific schedule of signing times. And
awesome.
Outside of that schedule of signing times, I have been told to, and I quote, make myself at home and just enjoy it. So that could very well mean sneaking out of Comic-Con Phoenix and going to see Star Trek.
You should totally do that.
I don't know. It's just in my head I'm envisioning Comic-Con Phoenix to be kind of like wandering around the halls of Gen Con without an actual vendor hall to spend most of my time in.
All right, so Craig, when you see Star Trek, I have a homework assignment for you. Okay. So first of all, watch it, and I don't know if you're a big fan of Wrath of Khan or not, but see what you think as a movie. Compare it to the first one. Is it too campy? Blah blah blah.
That's all I remember.
But here's the other thing.
Yes.
So the big controversy has nothing to do with the plot of the film or how good it is.
Okay.
The big controversy right now is there is a group of feminists who are really upset with this film.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes.
Why? Because her looks so freaking hot.
No. Well, no. So Craig, I almost don't want to tell you. I want you to go watch this film and see if you can spot what would make feminists really, really upset at this movie, and yet
the triple wasn't a female.
The same, because a lot of these are geek girls, feminists. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but a lot of these, but they are not upset with like Game of Thrones as a feminist, which I'm a little fuzzy on myself because Game of Thrones certainly has many scenes.
I've seen it, Russ. I don't know what a girl was naked, but a guy wasn't. I don't.
No.
What is it?
So there are two issues with this movie that are becoming sort of. It's sort of a very geeky meme. It's but two of them that are issues that the geek women are having problems with this. I don't know why, because I don't understand it. But I'm a guy, so I guess I can't understand these things. But anyway, the two issues are there is a scene in the movie where a bunch of admirals.
Yes.
And ship commanders, all the most important people in Starfleet are around a table.
Incorrect. The most important people in that sector.
Yes, in that sector. Okay. There is a surprisingly few number of women around this table.
In that sector.
Yes. That's one problem. And the second problem, there is a extremely attractive science officer in this film. And her character is... not a very strong character, apparently. I don't know. I thought she did fine. And there is a scene where Spock sees her in her underwear. I know.
So she's objectified.
Yes.
And here's Craig labeled.
And here's the thing about this. I understand.
Wait a minute. Kirk was seen with his shirt off.
I know. Kirk was in bed with two chicks with tails. Also, that's a whole different scene. but which again, that's camp. But I'm okay with it. But I guess so. That I get that, right? But then, why is Game of Thrones not totally evil? Because Game of Thrones is full of naked women being treated as literally whores. I mean, So I don't understand why that is not a big deal. But this is huge. I don't know if it's because it's Star Trek and there's that whole backstory of Star Trek being about uplifting women. I don't know. And they didn't think Uhura had enough screen time either, I guess. I don't know. I thought Uhura kicked some major butt, but it's just me. Anyway, that's just let me know what you think about that, Craig. Keep an eye on that while you're watching this.
I think that's gamer chick girls just being haters.
Haters.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's haters going to hate myself.
That's just silly talk. Because it's not like, I don't know, the science officer was like, I don't know, Spock.
No, I don't think she was like,
you know what I mean?
She actually almost slapped him in that scene, which I thought would have been pretty fun if she had, actually. That would have been a good movie.
I learned my lesson because when we were talking about audiobook narrators.
Yes, I remember you got smashed for that.
Because the only bad example I had was a woman. Mm-hmm. I was told that I basically said all woman narrators are bad. So I know that I don't want to be accused of being a sexist again, so I'm just going to step back.
Well, I don't understand it. So if someone wants to email me, russ@d6generation.com, and let me know why Star Trek is a more sexist film than, say, Game of Thrones is a sexist TV show, or other movies which clearly have much more, I would think, exploitive scenes with women.
Right, and the woman being in her underwear wasn't exactly a gratuitous... Oh, here we go. Here's the booty shot. I mean,
it was meant to be a funny moment, playing on the fact that Spock is ignorant of human customs, right? It was meant to be a little scene where like Spock didn't know to turn his back when she was changing, is sort of the scene there, right? And it was meant to be sort of just a smile. Oh, those crazy Vulcans, and somehow it turned into, it was a blatant scene to show off this actress's body.
Well, and Zachary Quintus is how you say his name.
I don't know. I guess so.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
and frankly, Chris Pine too.
I got to say, I liked the whole. I loved everything about it. Actually, I did nothing of it bother me at all.
And that Audi commercial,
I know, right?
It's the best ever.
If you've not watched that Audi commercial, just go to YouTube and search Spock versus Spock.
I have seen that,
and it is pretty funny.
What do you think of that, Craig?
I thought it was awesome.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
I like when Leonard Nimoy's putting the golf clubs and he can't fit them in the trunk.
Yeah, I love that
he's like, it's just weird to hear him say that.
I love that he's singing the old Bilbo Baggins song.
Yeah, what's that reference? What is that? He sang that on the Hobbit cartoon or something?
No, there is an old music video of Leonard Nimoy singing that song in like 1970 something.
Why?
Just someone hired him to sing this song about Bilbo Baggins, and it's really funny. And it's an old YouTube video. It's all, you can go watch it. Look up, search Leonard Nimoy Bilbo Baggins, and you will find that video. It is a very bad 1970s. It's kind of like that scene, that old episode of was it Tonight Show, where William Shatner sang Rocket Man, Elton John's Rocket, or David Bowie's Rocket Man. Yeah, so it's like that sort of a scene of like what Shatner can't sing. It was the same sort of thing, and then they had, of course, Spock singing it in the car.
What do you think about the fact that Leonard Nimoy seems to get the cameo, well, much more than a cameo, a role, and William Shatner does not?
Well, Shatner doesn't make sense in the canon.
Well, true.
He's dead. Whereas Spock makes sense.
Have to.
No, they did. That's what I like about it. It's what's awesome about this reboot is it is internally consistent with everything that happened before. It did not. It's not a reboot.
Whole stuff Spock happened before.
Yeah, because Spock came back in time from the future.
Yeah.
In the first Star Trek movie. To warn them.
Idea.
So that Spock, Leonard Nimoy's Spock, went through all the experiences that were in the original series and the original movies. So this reboot isn't like those never happened. This reboot is seeing Kirk and Spock again at this time with slight changes to the universe because of the whole Romulan going back in time thing. They've altered things slightly because there's no more Vulcan, for example. So that's why it's so critically important and awesome that they do act like the original Kirk and Spock, because they are the original Kirk and Spock. I
see.
That's what makes it so cool, I think, because it's the greatest. That does
make it a little more cooler in my mind. See, I didn't know that from all the history.
Well, yeah, and that's why it couldn't have been Shatner, because he died in one of the last Star Trek movies, which you didn't see, so you didn't know. Spoiler alert!
No, I had no idea. How'd he die?
I forget. Well, Picard sees him. This is really kind of one of the weirder. I mean, that's the thing too. There have been so many really bad Star Trek films that, like I would say the Voyager Star Trek is pretty bad. There's also the Next Generation Star Trek movie.
Voyager Star Trek film?
Yes, the very first Star Trek film was Voyager.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, where Voyager, the satellite, comes back to Earth having been morphed by an alien and turned into a giant sentient robot thing. And so there's an episode of the Next Gen movie where I forget exactly. I mean, Picard goes in an alternate universe.
Why weren't those so good?
Some of them were okay. Some of them were. The Borg one was pretty good. But I think these are so much better. I don't know why.
Better than that. Yeah. Hey, I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
Is Dunkin' Donuts ready to kick us out yet?
Pretty close to, yeah. You got a last comment before we got to go?
What do you guys think about the Spider-Man reboot? Or are you guys not that big into Spider-Man stuff?
I am completely not into Spider-Man at all, so I recuse myself.
Well, Spidey's one of my favorite heroes. I loved the early 2000s Spider-Man movies. I really liked them. The new Spider-Man movie I thought was good, but not great for some reason.
Why do you think they bother rebooting it?
I don't know. It bothered me they rebooted it. I would just like to have seen. I would have just liked to seen. You could have changed the actor for me and kept the new Spider-Man episode. I don't need to see his origin story again.
Yeah,
there was no need for that.
Thinking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although that being said, I kind of really liked the reboot, and I didn't want to like it.
But it'd be like, it wasn't bad. But it would be like if James Bond, every time they change an actor, they go back to James Bond starting out again. It's like, why don't just
well,
keep
that's
them
what
going.
I felt too.
Just grab a new actor and keep Spider-Man going. I don't need to know. I mean, we all know how he came to be, and just slight twists on that don't really help us.
I have to admit, I heard something somewhere about a big debate. I thought this was fascinating. Like they literally debated for days or something whether in the reboot, Spider-Man's web shooters were going to be mechanical
Yeah.
or organic.
Yeah.
What do you like? Do you like organic web shooting or mechanical?
It didn't bother me in the first Spider-Man movies that they were organic, but of course, as a true believer back in the day from the comic books, I would prefer them to be web shooters because it goes back to be mechanical because it shows how brilliant Peter Parker is.
That's how I feel.
He's a scientist, so they should be.
I'm a mechanical.
So the reboot doing that was nice, and you would have to reboot to do that because the last movies didn't have that. So I guess I'm okay with that. I like it. So wait, before we close out, what are we looking forward to most coming up that is not out yet this year?
That's going to be quite a summer.
It is.
I'll tell you what I'm most looking forward to, but it'll probably be cheesy and you'll laugh at me.
What's that?
It's the Will Smith movie, which I can't remember the name. With him and his son.
After Earth.
Yes.
Is it sci-fi? What's it about? I haven't seen this one.
Oh, you haven't seen the trailers for it?
No, I haven't.
I don't know, something about Will Smith and he's in a plane and his son and their father and son in the sci-fi and they get sucked out of this big plane. They're like, they're sucked out and they're on the planet and they're the only two on the planet and they're like, oh my God, it's Earth and everything here is designed to kill us. And then a whole bunch of big bad computer generated monsters are chasing after Will Smith's kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I just think it looks great. I like Will Smith though, and I like Jaden Smith.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Will Smith's movies, but I just hadn't seen that one.
Craig, what are your thoughts on the trailer and whatnot of that movie?
I probably won't see it, but it looks intriguing to me. It looks, I don't know. I mean, it looked like, yeah.
I won't see it just because you're like, meh.
Yeah, well, because it's intriguing to me, but not interesting to me.
Yeah, I'll wait to video because there's too many other good movies, and I don't have that much time to see movies with the family and everything. So I'll want to see I want to see Pacific Rim.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a must see.
This has missed my radar. I don't get it. Was it just a bunch of big monsters?
It's giant robots fighting giant monsters. The West doesn't know.
See, that sounds so boring. All right, let me look it up while you guys are talking about it.
You watch the video and you come back and tell me what you think.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
And then also.
World War Z, even though it's not going to be the novel.
Yeah,
that looks good.
I don't know. It's bothering me. It's not even close to the book.
Yeah.
It's bothering me. It's actually bothering me. Like watching those previews, I'm like, why are they going to Russia?
Now, but aren't you being a comic nerd that it's not Mandarin?
Well, it's a book, not a comic. But
oh, I didn't know there's a difference. Oh, a little highbrow.
There is, yes. Well,
Highbrow indeed.
yes, they don't reboot books. See, here's the difference. Books are sacred tomes, not to be violated.
Uh-huh.
If we had a transcript of this and asked people who said it, they would all think it was me.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Tomes.
Sacred tomes. A book. Look, like it's like Lord of the Rings, right? That should be relatively close to the book. You know, you can't pick the whole thing up and move it from Middle Earth to Jersey. Okay? I don't know why this whole thing moved from China to Russia, but it has, which is bothering me to no end. I don't know why that's bothering me. It just is.
Expecting the book. I think it's going to be cool to watch.
It could be. It could be cool to watch.
Brad Pitt looks like he's the right role too.
But I hate. Here's the thing. I have a peeve about these movies that take the name of a book and that's all they take, and nothing else about the books is related to the movie. And I'm afraid this is going to be that, except there's zombies in it. That's all it's going to be about.
See. I have a different opinion. I agree with you. Yes, but on the other hand, it's giving they're bringing what we geeks love, zombies and cool stuff, and then it'll bring it to the mass drolls, the idiots that aren't geeks, and they're just like, ugh.
No, but you can make a zombie movie. Call it Russian Zombies.
But they'll watch this and then they'll read World War Z and they'll go, hey, this geek stuff's kind of cool.
No, they won't, because they'll be like, why can't these geeks get their story straight? It's totally different in the book than it is in the movie.
We've got to dumb it down for the non-geeks, right?
Wow.
Craig?
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather look. I don't know. Comics don't have because comics reboot so many times. I don't think I mind so much when they're different. But the book thing bothers me. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me being weird. I don't know.
Hey, I've got a science geek question before we finish and do our expectations.
All right.
How is it that Iron Man can withstand the physics inside that Iron Man suit?
I'm thinking he's got inertial dampers.
Okay.
Which physics is he not? Should he not be able
punched and smashed into a concrete wall?
Yeah.
Well, so theoretically, right, if his suit is accelerated really, really fast, he'd be smashed into the front of his suit. And then when the suit hits the wall and he's decelerated really fast, he'd be smashed into the back of the suit. And if he's going really, really fast, he'd be hurt. So I'm thinking there's either some kind of super inertia absorbing gel inside the suit, or there is some kind of gravity defying inertial dampers in the suit.
See, because what startles me, what fascinates me about that is that they don't ever talk about that. Like he's got a mylar.
Well, he's got repulsors in his hands, right? Which so he doesn't really. I mean, Iron Man doesn't really fly on jets. He flies on repulsors, right? Which really push him off.
I know, but it's the fact that the suit's so thin.
If you had mini repulsors inside the suit that pushed back on your body at the equal and opposite direction of the deceleration of being hit,
don't you think they'd have to show the neurons being attached to his boob?
I'm totally nerding out right now, dude.
He's got to be in like a kind of mylar like skin suit or something.
Yeah, you just got to suspend your disbelief on that one. Yep. But it's repulsors. It's all repulsors all the way down.
I think it's nanite, what you said before, not repulsors. You said something else. Oh, inertial dampeners.
Inertial dampers or gel. Yes, there you go. Okay. That's how they fixed it in Star Trek. It's all inertial dampers.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking forward to The End of the World by the Shaun of the Dead team.
Oh, that'll be good. Yes, that's going to be awesome. That's on the list.
Yeah.
Anybody care about the Superman film? I can't get excited about that.
I can't get excited about Superman is my problem.
Yeah. I've never been a Superman guy, and the last Superman movie was the last Superman movie I'll go pay to see.
Yeah,
it was just so bad. I was like, you've even. I mean, it's just so white bread.
Right. What about Ender's Game?
Oh, I love it.
There we go. Now I can't wait either. That's going to be awesome.
That's like
I'm so out of the loop. I've never read Ender's Game.
Oh, you got to go do that.
I don't even know what people are talking about.
Please read it before you see the movie, because I'm confident they're going to do a good job. But this is the kind of book. I mean, it's a classic. You got to read it. It's like Lord of the Rings. You got to read it first. You got to.
Yeah, I'm going to download it on Audible.
There you go.
Wow, November is going to be a great month.
Yeah, it is.
When does End of the World come out?
End of the World, I think, is July or August. I just had it up and I lost it.
Ooh, Lone Ranger too. I'm a Lone Ranger fan. I can't wait.
Yes, did you? I know you wanted to see that, and that movie looks horrendously awful, terrible.
No. You got to think Pirates of the Caribbean. It's going to be the same kind of film. Okay, it's by the same team.
Johnny Depp's accent of the Indian, he sounds identical to the freaking spoof.
Bothered me
on Saturday Night Live.
That bothers me because he's really the only white man on the planet that would be able to get away with what he's doing in that movie.
Pretty much. I mean, there's definitely some issues there, but I don't care. I like the Lone Ranger. I've always been a fan of it since I was a little kid. I love the Lone Ranger. I don't care. I want to see this movie. That's pretty much where I am. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't care. It's got pirates. I'm going to go see this movie.
Yeah, you are a kind of a fanboy that way.
I am.
I don't know. At least the trailers made it look appealing somewhat.
It looks like I liked Wild Wild West too.
World's End is August 23rd. What do I think about what?
Lone Ranger.
I don't think I'll see it.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
That's going to be pleasantly surprised. People are going to rave about it. I'm predicting it now.
Elysium?
I saw the trailer for that. I saw that trailer for that in front of Star Trek.
In it.
I thought it looked kind of good, but not great.
It reminds me a lot of Firefly, which I think a lot of people are doing.
Didn't look Firefly to me.
No, because you've got like the down and out poor people on the planet, and all the rich people are in little islands.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
But he gets his little body augmented with like an exoskeleton thing, and he goes off, kicks butt, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it's Matt Damon, so
yeah, okay, all right.
I don't have a lot of hope for it. But,
I don't know either.
It's like Matt Damon, Jodie Foster, who I'll never see quite the same way again after the Academy Awards.
I missed out on that one.
Yeah.
You know what she looked like to me is Angela. No, who is it? Who played the main bad girl nemesis in Prometheus? Thiessen? No, what's her name? Charlize Theron.
I don't know.
Looked like that same kind of character. Maybe it was just the blonde hair.
Yeah.
I don't remember even seeing a preview. I'm just looking at the poster right now, and I think I might have remembered seeing his spine like go click, 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 but that's all I remember.
Oh yeah, that is something that happened.
By Foster, I'm talking about like what Saturday Night Live made fun of her for like a week after, which was one episode. But anyway,
all right. I think the Dunkin' Donut guy's giving us the evil eye over here.
Evil Eye. Kick-Ass 2? Anybody? Not
I didn't see the first one. Is it worth watching? I rented
the first one. I heard it was terrible.
Again, that's another comic book movie, but that's like a cool kid comic book.
I liked
movie.
Scott Pilgrim. I did. I'm not going to lie. There, I said it.
Comics are awesome.
I liked Scott Pilgrim too.
Yeah, I'd see. So if Kick-Ass is like that, I'd see that again. I'd see
Ripped. How about Ripped? R.I.P.D. I really have no interest in that one.
that. No, what's that about? I haven't seen that one even.
That one is Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges are ghosts, and they're like their rest in peace department. They're police. They're ghost police, and they basically go after bad spirits. Then of course the bad spirits are trying to bring hell to Earth.
Do they have to?
What?
Do they have to sing Henry VIII to Whoopi Goldberg? Because that would ruin it for me.
Oh no, yeah, that would ruin it. Yeah.
What about the Google intern movie?
Google?
Oh yeah, with the Googlers or whatever it is.
Yeah, that looks funny.
It's got the wedding crashers going into Google. Basically, is what's going on there.
What's it
That
called?
could be funny.
I don't know. It could be funny.
It could be, or you could be. All the jokes are in the previews.
Intern?
Yeah, the interns.
Yes.
It does feel like all the funny bits are in the preview.
Are you guys Hangover fans?
I am, but I just read a really bad review of Hangover.
I'm not a Hangover fan at all. I don't get what people thought about that movie. I saw it. I'm like, I could care less about that stupid
I
movie.
thought the first one was funny. I did not see the second one. I'm not sure how you do a third one, but there you go.
Well, the third one is apparently absolutely not at all like the first two, which is why.
Are they not hungover? Is that the problem?
Yeah, that's the review I just read said there's no hangover. They're completely sober through the whole thing.
Well, there you go.
And there's a couple things that like just don't make sense that for the characters to do given the character backgrounds that they've already been established with.
There you go. All right, I'm going to buy one more crawler, then we got to go.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Well, Rafe, thanks so much for joining us here on The Lost Chapters.
My pleasure. It's fun as always.
And we can't wait to have you on the main show here in a week or so.
Oh,
Sounds awesome.
All right. Cool. Later.
Thanks for purchasing a D6G Lost Chapter. Supporting the show helps it grow.
Now, Craig, Rafe, what are you eating, Rafe?
I've got some chips and some leftover chicken McNuggets that I'm wolfing down.
Wow, like how many days old are the McNuggets? How many days can you go and still have an edible McNugget?
Oh, probably 780.
I was gonna say it's got to be into the weeks or months if you're gonna push it.
Actually, it's not even. I shouldn't say it's chicken McNuggets. That's trademark infringement. They are baked chicken nuggets.
They're chicken parts in the shape of a nugget.